topic community policing. It's a contemporary topic, all right. It has been out there. Many policing agencies have taken advantage of it, and so we are going to be digging deep into this topic. Okay, so we are going to be looking into this topic. Before we go deeper, let's look at the learning outcomes as usual. At the end of this lesson, the student should be able to explain the term community policing. Community policing, that is key as a student of criminology. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain elaborately the meaning of community policing. You should be able to identify the agents and components of community policing. Then you should also be able to list and explain the components of, this is the same thing. I'm just really going to take that out. Alright, so agents and components of community policing, you should be able to identify that. Then you should be able to list and explain the components of community policing. Examine the different strategies of community policing. Alright, so let's move on straight into the nitty-gritty. What is community policing? What is community policing? Community policing. Now, community policing is simply defined as a collaborative effort. This is a key term here. Collaborative effort between the police and the community that identifies problems of crimes and disorder and involves all elements of the community in the search for solution to these problems. All right. Now, it is collaborative in nature. That means it must involve more than one party, okay, two and above. And in this case, we have the police and the community. The police and the community. The essence of which is to identify problems of crime, okay, and also to proffer solutions to those problems. That is the major. Those are the key terms whenever you are defining the concept of community policing. It is a collaborative effort between the police and the community geared towards identification of crime and also to proffer possible solutions to solve those crime problems. Alright, let's look at those agents of community policing. Who are those that can come together and ensure that there is community policing and ensure that the aim of community policing can be achieved? The first one here is the police. Remember, we're talking about policing, and so the first agent is the police. Second, residents. That's the people, residents. Traditional rulers, religious leaders, NGOs, students' bodies, etc. Different groups. We often hear that security is everybody's business, and so everybody has to come together. So community policing, those who are agents, those who are active participants, entails the people in different capacity, right? Another thing you will need to know is that community policing is quite different from state police, right? It's quite different from state police. Community policing is only a strategy of policing. It's only a strategy of policing. State police is a different aspect of policing. Okay, it's a different type of policing. So community policing is not state police. Don't confuse those two terms. All right. So this is a strategy of policing just to ensure that the police have a competitive advantage over the criminals. That they have that partnership, they have that support from the community of which they are meant to protect. All right. Let's move on to the class activity here on community policing. What is community policing? We have defined that already, so you should be able to do that. Another one lists the agents of community policing. These ones you should be able to do after this lesson. All right, let's proceed to components of community policing. What are those components? Components are different from agents. All right, we're talking about the key ingredients, the key components or elements or features of community policing. The first one is community partnership. Community partnership. There must be community partnership in community policing. What does that mean, or what is the target of community partnership? Why will the police want the community to partner with them in order to combat crime? The essence of which is to establish and maintain mutual trust. This is the key word, trust. To establish trust. Once there is that mutual partnership, the essence of the community partnership is to establish trust, right? To ensure that the relationship is trustworthy. If the community tells the police that something is happening, the police should be able to trust the community. And whatever the police says, the community should be able to trust the police. So trust building by community partnership is a key element in the concept of community policing. Where there is no trust between the community or the people, then there is no community policing. In fact, that community policing is bound to fail. All right. A little diagram as contained in your study material was used to illustrate the concept of community partnership. It has to do with effective communication between the police and the community. That once there is that effective communication, then trust will be built. There will be trust in between the community and the police. All right, and of course that trust will facilitate community contact, to facilitate that relationship, that strong bond between the police and the community. So trust is key. Trust. The second one is problem solving. Problem solving. After building trust between the police and the community, what next? Crimes that are identified in the community must have solution, and so it is within the strength of that relationship that the community and the police can sit down and profile possible solutions to the problems of the community that has been identified. All right, so the essence of problem solving as a key component of community policing is to ensure that crime reduction by carefully studying the characteristics of problems in the area and the application of appropriate resources. So in summary, the essence of problem solving is to reduce the rate of crime in the community, and also to ensure that there is the application of appropriate resources in order to deter crime. For instance, if burglary proofs are noticed in the community gate to have been going wrong, it is within the component of problem solving for the community and the police to come together and change the burglary proofs that are going back. They channel resources appropriately. All right, appropriate resource channeling. So, in summary, why the component of community partnership is geared towards trust building, the component of problem solving is geared towards crime reduction and appropriate resource allocation. All right, so let's proceed to the next slide, which is community policing strategies. This is very, very key. The different strategies in police community policing. All right, in some conversation you might hear police community relations. All right, police community relations. It is akin or similar to community policing. Okay, so what are their strategies? Strategies are: one, public education programs. This has to do with the police trying to gather support, trying to garner general support for increase in police resources, just for police to have people that will support them and give them vital information about criminal activities. Essentially to sensitize, all right, sensitize, inform, and educate members of the public on many security or crime issues. Okay, why is public education important? It is a strategy because it's going to give the people adequate knowledge about security issues, all right, crime issues. Then the second strategy is neighborhood watch, as the name implies, neighborhood watch programs. Community members coming together in small groups in a local residence. All right, this actually happens in a local residence, not in public spaces where they can hold public meetings. All right, local small residence, small groups to gather intelligence and share information about local crimes, crime problems, crime prevention strategies, and develop plans for watching and safeguarding the neighborhood and reporting crime. Now, this neighborhood watch is actually done in smaller groups, and the essence of which is to gather intelligence and report possible criminal activities to the relevant agencies. Right? Another one is neighborhood town meetings. Now, this is quite confusing. It's quite related to the neighborhood watch programs. Now, the difference is that this happens in open public spaces, all right, in town hall meetings, town halls, all right, assembly grounds. But these ones happen in local residents, all right. Usually, this is between the police and the community, all right. It is actually geared towards contact development between the community and the police, where they meet one-on-one and they get to know themselves, and that relationship is being built, usually in public places, public halls, town halls, all right, public spaces. Another one is the storefront or mini station. These are police stations that are located within the community, those substations, essentially to decentralize the police, bring it closer to the people, just like you have the local government set up at the grassroots. This is also to cement the relationship between the police and the people. It is a strategy, and whenever patrols are being done, it is these mini stations, these police stations within the communities that are usually supposed to get first-hand information before they can call for backup. Now, the next strategy is weed and seed programs. What does this mean? Weeding out violent criminals, drug abusers by the law enforcement agencies. Those criminals who are caught within the communities are weeded out. They are removed from the community, all right? But then the community can now suggest people who are very important in the community that are needed, services, programs that will add more vitality to the existence of the community. So when they weed out criminals, they look out for things that will better the community. So that is another strategy. As criminals are weeded out, they look for programs, services that could improve the welfare of the community. So these are very key strategies in community policing: public education program, neighborhood watch programs, neighborhood town meetings, storefront or mini stations, weed and seed programs. These are key strategies in community policing. All right, we have very briefly hit on the key points of this topic. The other ones you can find, you can read again in your study materials, but I've been able to summarize those key elements for you, so just to make it easier for you. So another class activity that you may want to take into consideration is what are the components of community policing. You list out the components, you know them already, we have discussed them. Then list and explain the strategies in community policing. We just finished with that. Okay, so you can pause the video as well, take down these and ensure that you are able to attempt them religiously on your own. All right, so this is it. We have now come to the end of this lesson. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.